A very good afternoon to all of you watching UBC TV. This is Uganda's national broadcaster. We are live here at the Broadcast House along Nile Avenue in Kampala. This is UBC Lunchtime News. My name is Crispus Arinitwe. And without further ado, let's dive into the bulletin. President Museveni paid tribute to the late Edward Nyachwara, a respected elder of Karamoja and former public servant. During a visit to his ancestral home in the Kapiripiriti district, the president's visit came shortly after presiding over the International Labour Day celebrations. President Museveni described the late Nyachwara as a friend and one of the first Karamojan personalities he encountered in his youthful years. As a gesture of support, President Museveni donated a tractor to assist the families of the late Nyachwara, Lalem and Naburi in agricultural production sector. On her part, Christine Nyachwara, the widow of the late Nyachwara, expressed deep appreciation to the president for honoring her husband's legacy. The event was attended by members of the Nyachwara family, including the children and grandchildren. Anyakun Esther, who is the Minister of State for Labour, Employment and Industrial Relations, and Member of Parliament for Nakapiripiriti District, among others, said this was an honor for this great move. Take a look. Now, in our other story of this bulletin, following a recent note from the NRM Electoral Commission outlining nomination requirements, for the party's national chairmanship are now appealing to the public for financial support. Each candidate is required to raise 20 million Uganda shillings to qualify for the race. Among them is Kawoya Chigongo Samuel, who has opened a donation account with Post Bank Uganda, calling the fee excessive and urging Ugandans to support his bid. Let's have more.
And this is one of the reasons why I even have this press conference. They have raised the minimum subscription for presidency, for which I want to be the next president of Uganda, 2026, 2031. But the minimum subscription has been raised to 20 million. Now that has affected my plan, and I need money on this account here, which I'm giving to people. It also ensure transparency, such that once you are sponsored by your voters, they will ensure that there is a transparency all the time. And in view of that, that is in conformity with our national Ugandan Constitution 1995. Which ensures that we go through, we practice good democracy, good governance. It is written there that the voters should find donations and find subscriptions. It happens in other jurisdictions. We need to start it in Uganda so that their candidate can be sponsored by them, and then they own the candidate. And then also to popularize the democracy and ensure that good governance is ensured in Uganda. For instance, accountability. Once voters sponsor their candidate, they'll put him to accountability all the time.
A team of 20 Ugandan young engineers who went to Malaysia for more studies have returned to home following a successful completion of their studies in science and technology skills. The team supported and the Presidential Initiative on Science Development arrived at Entebbe International Airport and was received by Yoweri Museveni, who is the Senior Presidential Advisor in charge of agribusiness. Take a look.
I've been studying Masters of Engineering in Mechatronics and Automatic Control in Malaysia. Okay. We are about 20 students that went on the journey to go study in Malaysia, and these are equipped engineers, in fact, Masters of Engineers, that we have come with in the country to improve on so many technological advancements in the country. We will not say much, but what we can start with is there's been a great opportunity handed over to us by the government of Uganda, headed by the President of Uganda, that gave us this opportunity from a pool of thousands of Ugandans who entered into an interview, and we were selected among the few. Our fellow Ugandans is that we are here to build their nation. When they selected us, the task was heavy on us, and we are coming back home knowing that this is heavy on us, but we are not scared. We are here to move the country.
The Master of Science in Systems Engineering, and I'm grateful to be back home today. I'd like to start by thanking the Almighty God for guiding us through this opportunity. As Joshua mentioned, about a year and a half ago, we embarked on an enthralling journey to Malaysia to equip ourselves in various areas, as he has mentioned, in the technology sector. And so we'd like to thank God for guiding us through and helping us to come this far. As we speak, most of us have been able to complete the program successfully and get various skills that we believe will be very beneficial to the country in the specific areas of technology. And my message to the younger girls out there is to not be scared of the sciences, to not be scared to venture into sciences, technology, and all these other areas, because we have a big role that we have to play as women in STEM.
Doing Masters of Engineering in Cybersecurity. First of all, cybersecurity is how do we guard our digital space as a country. Generally in Africa, we are a bit behind in terms of digital development or advancement in technology, and many countries have not even set cyber frameworks for their governments to follow and be able to protect their data or even protect their citizens from cyber crimes, cyberbullying, the revenue losses from the digital world, from the digital cyber hacks. One of the examples is actually, I think, some month back happened to Bank of Uganda. And you see how everyone was disorganized.
Above all, we'd like to thank the government of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Museveni, for this great opportunity given unto us. We do not take it for granted, and we believe that in all this we shall be able to impact also other Ugandans to carry on their vision, to build the nation and to see the country grow in technology.
It's very deliberate and strategic in promoting science to get solutions tailored on science. So these young people got their first degrees from Uganda, but they had to go and add on and practice current technologies in different fields. You are very much aware that the State House is undertaking an initiative of setting up a national technological demonstration center at Uganda, where you've seen people trying to grab that land. So the president is trying to set up that center for these young talented scientists to see that they provide homemade solutions based on science.
Hundreds of Ugandans stranded in countries like Thailand, UAE and Myanmar due to trafficking and visa issues are slowly returning home. The Ugandan government has intervened by purchasing air tickets for some, aiding their repatriation into the country. However, many still remain abroad awaiting help as families plead for urgent and continued government's intervention. Take a look.
Many stranded Ugandans across the world. There are many stranded at our embassy in Washington, in USA. There are those stranded in Oman. There are those stranded in Iraq. There are those stranded in Belgium, in Canada. There are those stranded even in Kenya. So we call upon our government to work upon all of these workers to be repatriated back home. But also, we want our government to apprehend legally those traffickers who are found guilty of trafficking these people. Yes, we've done many engagements with our government about this, and the government has shown some positive response. However, we call upon a heightened response to this. And also we call upon every stakeholder, including other private and public authorities, to engage in massive rampant sensitizations in the communities against the rampant drug and human trafficking. And also we call upon the government plus other bodies to do the same for our stranded Ugandans, our stranded fellows in Syria, in Iraq, in Lebanon, in Jordan, in India, in Saudi Arabia, in Egypt and other states. We also call upon our governments and other authorities to be compliant, to fight to combat the rampant drug and human trafficking, which is making many of our fellows get detained in many prisons worldwide.
With Uganda Airlines preparing to launch its highly anticipated direct flights between Entebbe and London this month, CEO Jennifer Muturachi says the airline is fully prepared to deliver top-tier service to passengers on the new route. She adds that the new connection will not only link Uganda to the UK but also ease connectivity across the African continent through Entebbe. Let's have more.
We are prepared with time. You know what we offer. No one else can offer it out of this country. We offer time shortened. So yes, you can take me around the world, you can give me a beautiful lounge, you can give me a beautiful service internally and on board, but braving 16 hours, and that's the difference we made when we launched Lagos, Abuja. A lot of that was cut off. We were asked the same question. Even now, we have partners and competitors that have increased schedules, daily, double daily. We still have people coming via because it's shorter. So London, for me, is a game changer, absolute game changer. First of all, it's so difficult to connect Africa with Africa. It's very difficult. Sometimes you have to go off the continent. One time we were going for an Afra event in Senegal. We had to go to Dubai and then down to Senegal. Imagine that. So it's about connecting Africa and connecting Africa to off the continent and connecting the continent to Uganda. When we bring in tourists, these people are going to go into the hotels, go into the national parks, go into the markets. So much is going to change. Look at what we're going to open up for cargo. They've been going via. Now, we're going to stimulate more people carrying cargo to London.
You are still tuned to UBC Lunchtime News. Local investors in rural-based small-scale industries are calling on government to urgently address key infrastructure challenges affecting their operations. While the sector continues to create jobs for youth, issues like poor roads, unreliable electricity and high taxes remain a major concern. Take a look.
I appreciate the government of Uganda for the conducive conditions it has put in place to see that the workers and all Ugandans are working very well without any instabilities. Secondly, we appreciate the government to have really worked on roads. At least you see that we have good roads, we have medical facilities, health facilities in Uganda.
We thank the government for giving us chances, more especially giving tax holidays to such companies that enables these investors now to hire us, give us jobs.
We get a challenge of power. Power is off and on. As we see, they operate on, we use power. So we get a big challenge of power. It's off and on, off and on. Disturbing our production becomes low. So what I can tell the government, it should at least assist and help improve its supply of power and reduce the taxes.
Our
concerning the employment. Employment is a general case, it's worldwide. Those countries which we feel they are well off, they also have unemployment. The unemployment is everywhere. But for our case, we are still a young country. We are still developing. But then we have that opportunity of taking, of exporting labor. So I urge the parents to bring us their children, their sons and daughters, to take them for employment.
Now in more news this afternoon, during Labor Day celebrations, President Museveni handed over the first batch of growth grants to over 20 institutional beneficiaries. Among them, National Research Laboratories, Kawanda, received 4 billion shillings to expand agribusiness incubation centers, while microfinance support centers, Karamoja Zone, reports growing impact of the Emyoga program in creating jobs. Our reporter has more.
Perpetual adoration of the most blessed sacraments.
Once again, I'm Dr. Tumimbi Serabon, Director of Research in National Agricultural Research Laboratories, Kawanda, one of the 16 public agricultural research institutes of the National Agricultural Research Organization. NARO is an entity under the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries. I will talk about the National Agricultural Research Laboratories that undertakes and discharges its mandate under 5 programs. We have Soils, Environment and Agrometeorology program, Agroengineering program, we have National Banana Research program, Biodiversity and Biotechnology program, and now I will talk about the Food Biosciences and Agribusiness that has benefited a grant from the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Under the Food Biosciences and Agribusiness, we have a National Agricultural Business Incubation Center, whereby we incubate agro-businesses. So we have received a grant to the tune of 4.5 billion Ugandan shillings. And this money comes from the GROW project under the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. This money is coming to help us develop our facility, the National Agribusiness Incubation Center, where we incubate agribusinesses. We are going to put more facilities, expand the facility, put infrastructure for winning mothers, infrastructure for trainees. We will do mobilization for women in agricultural enterprises so that they come, train, they grow and get certification to go and practice agribusiness in their areas. So this money that we have benefited from, we are getting from the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, is meant to create awareness among the communities in the country on agribusinesses, training farmers and women that agriculture is a business like any other businesses we know. Then again, train them and be grounded in agribusinesses in this country.
The district leaders, 289 circles. We've disbursed the initial seed capital. We managed to sensitize these circles, and as I speak now, we've managed to create jobs in Karamoja sub-region through the Emyoga circles. We also have another program that we are running, that is the Karachuna program. Those are the ex-warriors. We've managed to form circles to ensure that these people are economically empowered. And as I speak now, we formed 9 circles. That is 1 per district. And these circles we launched, and they were given a grant of 50 million per circle. Right now, what we are doing is capacity building for these circles, and we expect to create more jobs. We expect to change the lives of these Karachunas. As microfinance, we also offer affordable credit fund. We've managed to reach out to groups Those are the VSL groups in the whole of the Karamoja sub-region. And many people have borrowed this money with the low interest rates of 8%. They have also managed to create jobs. They have changed their lives. Right now, as I speak, people are doing a lot of business and farming. In the Kotido district, we supported the Women Farmers Forum. We gave them seeds. And as I speak now, they have planted maize and peanuts and are doing very well.
Growers, Kindi Women, Fish and Bunyoro Cooperative. Can I have the World Bank representative?
You are still tuned to UBC TV. UBC Lunchtime News takes a brief break. Don't touch the dial.
You used to tell me that I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day. Yeah, yo,
you can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
The Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, is wholly owned by the government of Uganda and was established to safeguard and promote Uganda's commercial interests in the petroleum sector. UNOC has two subsidiaries, the Uganda Refinery Holding Company, URHC, which will hold a 40% stake in the 60,000 barrel per day refinery and manage the development of Kabalega Industrial Park, and the National Pipeline Company Limited, NPC, in charge of pipelines, storage, and downstream business ventures. This subsidiary holds 15% interest in the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, ECOP. ECOP is a 1,445-kilometer long pipeline that will transport crude oil through 10 districts in Uganda to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. UNOC is also actively engaged in crude oil exploration, development, and production activities, and its participation role includes a 15% stake in the Tilenga, Nwoya, and Bulisa, and Kingfisher development projects, Chikure. UNOC also holds the exploration license for Kasuruban Block in Hoima, Bulisa, and Masindi. UNOC currently owns and manages the Ginger Storage Terminal and will build a 320 million litre capacity terminal in MPG called the Kampala Storage Terminal. At UNOC, we're harnessing the potential of Uganda's petroleum resources, forging a sustainable future and preserving the natural beauty of Uganda. UNOC, your partner in Uganda's oil and gas industry.
Okero. Hey, Kajambo. Mukasa. Where are you going with the family? Oh no.
We are on our way to the polling station. The Electoral Commission is displaying the National Voters Register. And I need to make sure my name is on it. And Sophie here wants to confirm her voter details. We are all warming up for elections together.
What about these young men? I can see you.
These ones are no longer boys. They are now men. Last election, they were too young to vote. But now, they are ready to vote.
Mukasa, you have really inspired me. Now let me also go home and pick my wife so that we can check the details in the register.
Okay.
See you at the polling station.
The National Voters Register will be displayed at your polling station from 25th April to 15th May 2025. Please do not miss this chance to confirm your polling station and your voter details. Report the dead for removal from the register and those who appear more than once. Every vote matters. This message is brought to you by the Electoral Commission of Uganda.
Stay tuned to UBC TV. My name is Crispus Arenitwe. Now in more news this afternoon. Government is on a mission aimed at minimizing and managing the debt burden, says the Commissioner in charge of Debt Policy Insurance, Paul Okitoy. He says government currently is prioritizing financing of projects with high investment returns to support domestic investment and minimizing borrowing in the country. Take a look.
Uganda's increasing debt burden is becoming a major concern to the nation's public finances and economic growth. The rising debt to GDP ratio and high debt servicing costs have caused controversy over the country's ability to finance essential development programs. According to economists, Uganda's debt is projected to rise up to 52.7% by June 2025.
Debt is sitting on us like traffic jam. You have cars in front, you have cars beside you, and in Uganda you have cars on the pavement, you have nowhere to go. That's what debt has done to us. We are saying, can we get some space back to think? Sometimes I pity my colleagues in finance. Before you begin to budget, the budget is finished.
The Executive Director, Uganda Debt Network, Patrick Tumwebazi, noted that a lot needs to be done to examine how the country can minimize borrowing, especially on non-priorities.
We are now going into specifics, because specifics in the sense that we're looking at who is affected more by debt compared to another section of society. So we discovered that the ladies or the femmes or the women are more affected.
On the trust fund, I think it is the behavior in the country on how trusts are managed. That's really what is holding in. Finance is not in for a trust fund for HIV because of the nature in which resources are managed.
During the national conference convened to examine Uganda's debt crisis and highlighting connections between colonial debts and current fiscal challenges, stakeholders also noted the need by government to have a streamlined borrowing culture.
They removed that money and took it to what they call is very essential. They removed that money. So you can see we go ahead appropriate, but the Minister of Finance abuses our power as Parliament.
The Commissioner in charge of Debt Policy Insurance at Ministry of Finance, Paul Okitoy, revealed that government is currently prioritizing financing of projects with high investment return, supported by domestic investment.
Government will continue to prioritize concessional financing as well as semi-concessional financing, and only to a lesser extent acquire commercial financing for critical, high results projects that have high rates of return, but also can pay themselves back.
He further allayed all fears, noting that government is also managing the current debt burden.
At least Uganda is not at debt distress.
The conference provided an opportunity to stakeholders to discuss continental and national debt challenges, explore strategies for sustainable development, and advocate for a more equitable global financial system. Cayenne Faith, Andrew Sebida, for ABC.
Now in more news this afternoon, in a time when material wealth often defines success, a powerful message is emerging, urging Ugandans to rethink what truly matters. This week, the launch of a new book titled Building a Legacy, Not Inheritance, sparked inspiration among young entrepreneurs, business leaders and economists alike. Our reporter Jethro Kasayiji was at the event and brings us the story of a generation choosing purpose over possessions. Take a look.
In your bank account. It wasn't just another book launch. It was a movement in the making. The author's message was clear. Lasting impact is not found in what you leave behind in your bank account, but in the values, vision, and influence you pass on.
We honor him for the many whose careers were reshaped for the better through the leadership program. No doubt your contribution to the field of international finance, placement of young economists at the IMF, and the development of future leaders leaves a legacy that will inspire future generations.
You've come because you know where the true wealth is in that book. We are told that the truest wealth isn't what you leave for people, but actually what you leave in people.
Among those listening closely were young entrepreneurs, many in the early stages of building their businesses. But beyond profit margins, they were challenged to ask themselves a deeper question: what will I be remembered for? Delivering the keynote address was renowned economist and former Deputy Governor of Bank of Uganda, Dr. Louis Kasekende. Drawing from decades of leadership in public service, his words emphasized character over currency.
You have also challenged us to support and guide people on their journey of growth and transformation.
In the book, really the first section of the book is about my own personal development. I wanted to go back and understand where did I get the values that I have today, and also then to look at the skills I acquired in school, both in Uganda and in the United States. It gets us to think differently. It tickles us. It catalyzes us. It once again asks us a question. What you've left or what you're intending to leave behind, are you leaving it in people?
The message wasn't just resonating with the youth. Seasoned economists and professionals in the room acknowledged that Uganda's path to inclusive development lies not just in wealth creation, but in the values-driven leadership. The book launch became a mirror reflecting what truly matters in nation building.
Lesson number one is investing in material things like assets, estates, titles, and so on is some kind of seductive embrace to mediocrity, to thinking average. The real investment is into character and courage and contribution to society, creating opportunities for others, impacting communities around you, even those who will not know what your contribution was, and transforming lives and livelihoods of people.
As the sun set on a deeply reflective evening, one thing stood out. Inheritance was to be counted, but legacy should be felt. And in the minds of many who attended, a legacy had already begun.
UBC Lunchtime News. My name is Crispus Arinitwe, and now to Somalia. Visiting Southwest State, top United Nations officials in Somalia covered a range of local topics with the federal member states' leadership, in addition to reiterating the need for discussion on various national issues the country faces. Take a look.
I underscored the importance of unity and inclusive dialogue among Somalia's political and community leaders. And I reiterated the position of Somalia's international partners. We welcome the initiative announced by President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud in his Eid al-Fitr message to arrange a platform that brings together the full range of Somali voices to advance the country's state-building priorities and respond effectively to the al-Shabaab threat.
You are still tuned to UBC TV, Uganda's national broadcaster. And now to the world of sports. The grand final of the Stanbic Uganda Cup will be staged at the newly opened Kadiba Stadium, adding extra excitement to this year's prestigious tournament that has been held since 1971. Holders Chitara FC will face Vipers SC in the first semi-final, with the opening leg to be played at the St. Mary's Stadium, Chitende. Meanwhile, 10-time winners Kampala Capital City Authority KCCA FC will host FUFA Big League side Kataka FC in their first encounter. The first legs of the semi-finals are scheduled for 3rd and 4th May 2025, while the return legs will be played on the 17th and 18th of May 2025. Vipers head coach and captain talking ahead of their game with Star FC on Saturday. KCC FC head coach confirms their readiness ahead of their game against Kataka FC.
Possibly we start well in the next this month of May. It's not going to be easy because we have a crowded fixture, but we have a squad that at least can maneuver and help us get through. So we expect a very, very tough month of May, but we have a squad that is mentally ready and physically, and hopefully they will get through this tricky month too.
The game on Saturday is one of the most important games we are going to play. Kitara is a good side. We respect them because we're in the same league. Yeah, but us as Viper Sports Club players, we know what's coming and we are ready. We follow everything that the coaches tell us to do on the pitch. So my fellow players and I are ready for the game on Saturday.
Thank you. We are well prepared. We are together. They are very aggressive in whatever we are trying to do. So we think when we follow the plan in the right manner, we shall be able to overcome that fixture on Sunday.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you throughout this entire bulletin. From the rest of the team behind the cameras, I want to say a very good afternoon. My name is Crispus Arinitwe. Cheers.